Okay. Now we have test layer and we discussed about the hey, we discussed about the pages layer and we are going to discuss about the core engine. Right? What is the core engine? Core engine is nothing but reusable utilities. Reusable utilities. Right? So what is the reusable utility? One is the Selenium utility. First thing, okay, first of all, we need, okay, the question, on which browser currently you are doing testing? As per our Chrome browser, right? Now, if the client asks you to change the driver, Firefox driver, change it to Firefox driver, what you need to do? You need to go to base method, base test method.
Chrome to Firefox.
You need to go to base test. Where is that base test? Under test, go to here and you can change. You can change to Firefox driver or Gecko driver or Edge driver like this. But how do you change? If we make one utility, this function, moving this function to one reusable class, because here in the before method you cannot pass the parameters, right? You may not pass the parameter. Can we pass the parameters in the before method? I didn't check. Otherwise, from the configuration also you can do, right? Yeah, from the configuration you can do property file you can declare in that property file have one okay browser equals to, if you mention the browser equals to Chrome, you need to get the instance of Chrome driver. If you mention the browser equals to Firefox, for example, if browser Chrome, browser is string, right? Browser equals to string. If it is Chrome, this code should be fine, right? Yeah. What is wrong here? Not initialized. Initially, I will give empty, right? Okay. Else right? If the browser equals to, if the browser equals to Firefox,
All 5 different if else statements we have to write, no, sir?
yes, that's it. Simple. Right? Here, instead of Chrome options, what is the edge options? Do you have any edge options? So the same application will work in the edge driver. See this how, right? So
Line,
only this thing I changed.
line 37 also, sir.
Line 37. Why?
Is equal to edge.
Where?
else if,
Options. I need to.
else if.
I passed options, na? Where?
In else if you have to change browser equal to.
Yeah. Okay. So if this code, this is nothing but browser factory. For example, you got the property from the config file. That value browser equals to edge now, right? Which statement will execute? Edge statement will execute. And what driver you will get? Is it Chrome driver or Edge driver? You will get the Edge driver. Edge browser will open, and that's it. You are not going to change any single statement in the page class or test class, right? The same test case will execute in the Edge driver. Earlier, the same test case is executed in Chrome driver. Right? How? Simply in the base test, you are passing the browser name, right? From where you are getting the browser name? By using the configuration file. That configuration file is nothing but properties file. In Java, we have properties file, right? We can read easily from the properties file. So all the configurations will set in the properties file, right? In the property browser equals to edge, we mentioned. So which statement, which browser, this statement will execute, and you will get this one. So this is one of the utility. If we move this code, right? If we move this code to one class file under utilities, see, this is a separation browser factory. What is this? What is this class name I am creating? Browser factory, right? What is the function name? Public, any name you can give. WebDriver. Finally, it will give what is the return type of that function? WebDriver, right? Get browser. And what it is taking? String. Browser type. Right? Put the code. What are the code you have written there? Put here. Take the browser type or simply browser. Okay. From here, remove it. And what you are returning? What you are going to return?
Browser, sir.
Driver, web driver, not browser. Based on the browser, you are creating the web driver, right? Right? So you are creating a web driver. I am saying what option I want. I want Chrome browser, right? So when you said Chrome browser, you will get this driver. If you say Edge, you will get Edge driver. If you say Gecko, if you have the code for Gecko driver, you will get that Gecko driver. So this is called browser factory. What is that? Browser factory. One of the utility in the core engine is browser factory. Right? What is this? It is a reusable utility. Right? Now, simply what you can do, you can avoid this one. Right? Browser factory dot. What is the function name? Right? You need to create the object for browser factory class. Spellings might be mistakes. You need to create the object for very simple. Okay, మీకు తెలిసిందే చేస్తున్నాను. Here we are doing that. Where I have written up to know the code. Remove that code. Right, create the object factory. దీన్నే one of the design pattern we used to say factory design pattern. Okay. What did you use any design patterns? Yes, I use the design patterns. So this is one of the design pattern. మీకు ఎవడు వీటి గురించి ఎవడు చెప్పడు, ఏ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ లో చెప్పరు. ఫ్రేమ్ వర్క్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయడాలు ఏం ఉండవు. మీకు అర్థమైతే మీ కర్మ, అర్థం కాకపోతే ఇంకా కర్మ. ఓకేనా? Now see the same thing. Earlier, whatever the code we moved, the same thing we moved to separate class file. Oh, in the factory itself we changed. Huh? Okay. Right? Now you are creating the object of browser factory, and in that factory you have a function get browser. You will assign to driver. Right? So this is one of the utility when you are explaining about automation framework. So I have three layers: test layer, page layer, or core engine. In that core engine, I have one of the main thing, browser factory. What is the responsibility of the browser factory? To give that, when you ask, okay, I need Chrome browser, it will give the Chrome browser driver. When I ask for Firefox driver, it will give the driver for Firefox. That code I have in the browser factory. That is the utility. Okay, if you didn't understand, you should watch the video once again. Okay, that is one of the utility. And another thing, Selenium Utility. Selenium Utility, I will give rough idea. Tomorrow we'll discuss. Selenium Utility. Right? So we'll use Selenium Utility is one more core engine. And right, sometimes you need your every test case depends on the test data. Right? To read the test data, might be that the test data is in JSON file. JSON reader. To read the data from JSON file, you will have JSON reader. Clear? With the help of JSON reader, you can read the data. Clear? And the same way, if you have the data in Excel sheet, to read the data from the Excel sheet, Excel reader is one utility class. Like browser factory, all these are the class files, reusable class files. Right? So what is the use? So instead of you writing the same thing once and once, right, again and again, what you are doing, right, you are creating some functions in one class file and just simply calling that function. That is the reusability. So reusability example is this one: creating class somewhere, function somewhere, and calling those functions whenever it is required. 100 times you can call that function, no problem at all. Right? So this is my third layer, core engine. Browser factory, Selenium utility, JSON reader, Excel reader, and sometimes I may need the data from database, SQL utility, right? If I want data from the database, especially to prepare proper dynamic test data, at that time you need SQL utility, right? So this is the framework. This is the complete framework here, right? These utilities you can use anywhere. Selenium utility especially you use when you are using, when you are going to do some clicks, or when you are going to handle the drop downs. So instead of writing okay, how to handle a drop down, right, you can create one function in utility. Always call the function, provide proper locators to that function. Okay, what is the web element and which web element you want to handle the drop down? Just to provide that web element. Inside you will have the code, okay, how to select an item from the drop down. So wherever you see that function, right, you can call those functions. Okay, you want to click on one web element by using explicit wait mechanism. So those kind of functions you will see in the Selenium utility. So while clicking, instead of directly clicking element.click, you can call the Selenium Click. Selenium utility, whatever the click function you have written in the Selenium utility class, that click you can use. So that's how your framework should be divided. So the Selenium utility you can use in all page classes to enter the text, right? To enter some text, you will have some function inside utility. To click a text, click on one element, you will have some function in utility, right? And you want to read the data here, from where you need the test data at the test level, right? So at the test level, you need to pass the data, right? How do you pass? From the reader, you can use the function how to read the data from the JSON and get the data and pass the data to your test class, like that. Okay. So this is overall your framework. Okay. This is overall your framework. So you can tell what is your project structure. When the people will ask, explain your project structure. My project structure is, I have three layers. My framework is divided to my project divided into three layers: test layer, pages layer, and core engine. Core engine is nothing but utilities layer. Reusable components. What are the reusable components I use across my project? Right. So test layer, what do you have in the test layer? All the test cases. What are the test cases I have written? Right, all the test cases I used to have in my test layer. What do you have in the pages layer? What are the pages you see in your application? For each page, I create one page class. For each page, I created one page class. Right? In that page class, what do you have? You will have all the locators and web elements and the functions specific to that page, not other page elements or other page functions. Okay, specific to that page, you need to mention clearly this statement. What is the advantage of the page object pattern? The advantage of page object pattern is reusability, easy of maintenance. Easy of maintenance, already you have seen. You can easily change the locators. Once the locator got changed, it is easy to update the locator because all the web elements are locators we used to have at the top of the page class. So only one place you need to change. If something is changed, the change will take place at only one time and one place. So that is the easy of maintenance, reusability, and it will avoid the ambiguity between one page to another page. So that is the advantages of page class. Then what is the third layer? core engine. Core engine is nothing but reusable components which we are going to use, all the reusable components which we are going to use in our automation framework. So that is the heart of the automation framework. Core engine is heart of my automation framework. What do I have in my core engine? I used to have browser factory. The responsibility of browser factory is give the proper driver instance based on the parameter. If the user request for Chrome, it will give the Chrome driver. If the user request for Firefox, it will give the Gecko driver. Like that. That is the example. Simple one-line statement. After that, I have Selenium Utility. To perform different kinds of Selenium activities, I created some utility, like to handle multiple pop-ups, to handle windows, to handle drop-downs, to handle clicks, to handle to write text. So all these functions I have created in my Selenium utility, and I am using in my all pages. That is the purpose of the Selenium utility. JSON reader. As part of test data, I may get the test data from the JSON files, or I may get the test data from Excel files. So as part of our framework, we have the capability to read the test data from JSON file by using JSON reader utility. I have Excel reader to read the data from the Excel sheet. The same way, if the data required something from database, I have the SQL reader utility. So this is my framework. And finally, where we are going to execute, where we are going to see results. The results we are going to see in the extent reports. Once you execute it, right, where you are going to execute that browser, you are going to execute your test cases in Chrome browser or Edge browser or Firefox browser. You can execute. After executing, what you will get, you may get one report. The report, I don't have the place, so I am keeping here. This is my report. Okay, what I used extent reports. Okay, after executing, once I execute in the browsers, I will get the report. Okay, this is my complete automation framework. How do you execute? Through Azure pipelines. I'll perform the executions through Azure pipelines or from local machine. Okay, that's it from the framework. Tomorrow we will see how to design. In tomorrow's session, we will see how to design